We all want high-end dynamic animations in our video, but rarely do we have the time or the budget to create them. Now this is where AE Juice comes in. We started using their products a year ago and it's made a huge difference to the way that we work. It's allowed us to incorporate complex and exciting animations and effects that we couldn't create ourselves without breaking the bank. Both our client work and our YouTube videos have become far more visually engaging, and AE Juice has allowed us to create these videos faster than ever before. AE Juice have asked us to review their all access subscription. We're allowed to say whatever we like, so it will be a completely honest review. And at the end of the video, if you're interested in getting this subscription, there is a limited time deal for Black Friday. You can click the link in the description to get that deal before it expires. So let's get into the review. If it's your first time using AE Juice and want a walkthrough of setting it up, jump to 25 seconds in our previous AE Juice video, which will walk you through the process of getting set up and ready to edit. Now, AE Juice has products for Premiere Pro, After Effects, Sony Vegas, DaVinci, Final Cut, even Premiere Rush. We're just going to stick with After Effects for this review because that's where we find ourselves using it the most. In our previous review, we took a look at the I Want It All bundle, and a few new additions that have caught our eye in this subscription are a lot of the VFX packages that cover very specific, hard to replicate items. Things like the National Flags pack, as well as the Plants pack, and also the Real Clouds pack as well. So it's really stepping up into the more complex VFX world of animation. For documentary work, we often try and bring archive photos to life with these animations, and these assets are really going to speed up our work and help us create much more realistic animations. There's also some very specific packs, things like the coffee promo, the burger promo, and also the beer promo as well. All of these are things that you can quickly and easily customize for the company that you're working for, and again, something that used to be a complex and time-consuming job that you can now quickly deliver. There's far too much to cover in just one review, so we're going to break it down into 3 different categories that we find ourselves using the most. So first things first, we'll talk about stylized looks, the looks that everybody wants. We're going to scroll down through this great range of packs to find the old film package. Just going to bring in some footage to work with here. And now the old film package has all those classic assets you could ever want when you're trying to replicate that 8mm look. So we're just quickly and easily going to drop that classic Super 8 frame onto our footage to start, and then we can then take it a step further by adding some film grain onto our image. Lots of options to choose from. I'm going to go for a nice orange and red kind of film burn look. Fully customizable as well, so once it's dropped on, just take the opacity down to blend it in a bit better. And all of a sudden, very quickly, you've built the Super 8 old film look very easily. And if you want to take it a step further still, you can look for the Film Textures pack. And this is geared a little bit more towards the 16mm and 35mm film looks. It's got a few different frames to work with. Just changing the blend mode. And all of a sudden we're changing it into more of a 35mm film look. It's really easy to navigate through all the different packs as well. It's really well set up in the AE Juice pack manager here. You can either search, as I have here, by typing in the pack that you're looking for. So next we're going to have a look at the Radical Retro elements. And you can quickly navigate between all the different tabs, the previous packs. And you can also, just like you do in After Effects, right click, close other tabs, and get rid of the packs when you're finished with them. So nice, easy navigation to keep you working nice and fast. Although this pack is quite stylized and time-stamped to have the 80s look, if that's the vibe that you're going for, there's lots of different options to play with here. You can get really extreme and start to create some really stylized looks with all these fantastic assets. Another look and vibe that's really popular is the old school VHS look. You've got 2 packs here, the VHS, the VHS transitions. The VHS look is really popular in social content, and it's something that's always best when it's used subtly. So I like to add these VHS transitions between shots. It's a really useful way to bring in that VHS look without overly distorting your footage. And again, you can tone this down. But if you are going for a stronger VHS look and really want to bring it in, the VHS pack has the full range of VHS overlays, distortion, all the different effects to really recreate that classic VHS feel. Let's take a little look at the animations and graphics that we can use. Going back into the AE Juice Pack Manager, as you can see, there's a whole range of packages here. Going into Burst Type Animated Alphabet, I really like this pack. It's got a light-hearted, playful feel, and the length and complexity of the animation on each letter is really useful as well. So adding text, you can add in each letter, move around, animate, Another text pack that I really like is the Modern Typography 2, and this pack is fantastic and something you'll find yourself needing on a wide range of different videos. A whole lot of options here, and it's fully customizable. Let's add in this one here. So making sure whether it's your brand or your client, you can stay fully on brand. And again, we're staying on brand and adding titles to videos. Lower thirds are something that are a crucial part of many videos. Here we're going to go into the minimal lower thirds options. You saw there's lots of different lower thirds packs. I really like minimal lower thirds. They feel very modern, very clean, very fresh. And these are often very time consuming to create, particularly ones that are exciting as these options. But also if you dive into the hidden and shy layers, you've got full control over all the assets here. So we can find our background colors, open them up, and then start to bring it into all our brand colors as well. So fully customizable and controllable lower thirds text. We work heavily in documentary, and there's 3 particular packs we want to draw your attention to here that we find are really useful in elevating our documentary work. An effect that we find really useful is the newspaper constructor. You've got 2 options here. Newspaper constructor, the original one is slightly more classic, and it's also really useful if you're referencing newspaper articles from a few decades ago to recreate them here. In reality today in documentaries, you'll more likely be quoting an online article rather than an actual newspaper, but displaying an article in this classic newspaper format can help your documentary feel much more premium. Here we can dive in and change the text to exactly what we like, very quickly, very easily. Newspaper Constructor 2 is a little bit more complex, a bit more eye-catching, a bit more dynamic. It's potentially got a bit more of a realistic feel to it as well, which is really useful. And what I love about both Newspaper Constructor packs is that if you dive into the text all around the articles, it's not that classic lorem ipsum default generated text. It's actual text that looks like it could be from a newspaper. And that's really useful as well, because your eye as a viewer isn't typically drawn to this. But if it is that lorem ipsum, all of a sudden it's going to stand out and you're going to have to draft and recreate lots of text to make it fit in. It's nice that this text here it looks realistic enough. It's not going to distract your viewer, but it saves you time of having to type it all out and create your own script as well, which is really useful. So you don't need to worry about changing every single word on the page, just the important ones that you need to do. Another great documentary pack is the text message constructor. A lot of the times in documentary work, you'll find that you're retelling a story that involves you needing to go back to a conversation that happened that there's no footage of, it didn't happen in person, it wasn't filmed. So telling this conversation through a text message can be a really useful way to cut away from your interviews, keep the viewer more visually engaged. What I love here is all the different options you get as well. Obviously you've got the classic, the very popular text message look now. You've also got some older looking messages as well. So if your story happens, say a decade ago, you can really make sure you're staying in the right vibe and the right feeling, that kind of nostalgia of the time to communicate your message. And also lots of different apps and platforms as well here. So you don't just stick with just the classic particular one look. You've got lots of different softwares, lots of different options. You also got the options to add sound effects, text message sounds, typing sounds as well, things that can really elevate your animation quite quickly and save you having to go away to a stock site, find all these animations, bring them into After Effects, having them all in one place is really, really useful. And finally, we are going back to look at some more text, going to kinetic big titles. If you're watching a lot of sports documentaries at the moment, you'll know that having these exciting dynamic titles is a really key part of the overall look and feel for the projects. And as titles, sometimes they're the things that get left till last or forgotten about, but having these exciting big dynamic animations to introduce your characters, to introduce locations is really, really useful. So in conclusion, AEjuice was something that we didn't realise how much we needed it until we had it. To have all these options available within an interface within the software we're editing with is a huge time saver. We don't have to search through templates and stock on lots of different websites. Having these options in front of you also prompts you to try different things and elements that you wouldn't necessarily have considered before, so expanding what you can offer creatively. If you tend to default to similar styles and effects, AEjuice is a great one to inspire you to step out of your comfort zone and try something new in your work. In this all-access subscription, we're constantly finding new packages that we like and bring them into our day-to-day work. And in the ever-competitive world of content, we're finding that AEjuice can really help your work stand out.